자기들의 대패패 공동 남았다. 그 자작하라 조건 잡는 게 너지분도 참아라더니 사지 좀더 되게 로지 나나 그 사지 좀더 되게 잠이 있으면 사야리들이 사파체미 당기제 체미에서 오마티 이 감점 사지 뒤섬지 사지 감점 주세기 탐제라 초반벌
受线上莅临现场的各位贵宾以及线上的全世界的金刚师兄弟们，问候一声吉祥如意。在此向各位献上由佛陀的钵盂盛装由诸佛累积了三大阿僧祇劫的慈无量心、悲无量心之甘露乳，敬献给三世的一切诸佛以及三界的一切有情。那么在这边先稍微讲一下一开始的修法的流程。我们在修前行的时候，从第一页不共发心，大家稍微翻一下，与我生称之愿底这边开始，一直念到第2页。愿我得自今日起生于一切勤于善。然后在这边的时候，往下是不念的，我们直接跳到第4页。第4页右手边的共通皈依发心，乃至正得菩提藏。中间那一段我们会跳过去，然后乃至正得菩提藏之后呢，我们就一路念到第7页，然后才会开始正经。
All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. For that purpose, until I attain Buddhahood, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Until death, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. From today until this time tomorrow, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. I take refuge in the Buddhas until attaining the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. I take refuge in the Buddhas until attaining the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. I take refuge in the Buddhas until attaining the essence of the awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the bodhisattva's path. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Now, Amitabha Sadhana, page 1. In the space in front appears the Guru in the form of Amitabha, surrounded by inconceivable retinue of bodhisattvas. Namo. To the three jewels and the three roots, the places of protection, I go for refuge. In order to establish all beings in Buddhahood, I give rise to the mind set on a supreme awakening. Namo. To the three jewels and the three roots, the places of protection, I go for refuge. In order to establish all beings in Buddhahood, I give rise to the mind set on supreme awakening. Namo. To the three jewels and the three roots, the places of protection, I go for refuge. In order to establish all beings in Buddhahood, I give rise to the mind set on supreme awakening. With sincere faith, I pay homage to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas abiding in the 10 directions, and 3 times. I offer flowers, incense, lamps, fragrances, food, music, and the like, actually arranged and mentally created. Supreme Gathering, please accept them. I confess all evil deeds, the 10 non-virtues, and 5 acts without interval that I have committed overpowered by mental afflictions since beginningless time until now. I rejoice in the merit, all the virtue accumulated in the 3 times by the Sravakas, practical Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, ordinary beings, and the like. please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the greater and lesser vehicles and the teachings common to both according to the aspiration and diverse mental capacities of sentient beings. Until samsara is emptied, do not pass into nirvana, but compassionately look upon sentient beings drowning in the ocean of suffering. May all the merit I have accumulated become the cause of awakening, and may I soon become a glorious guide of beings. The field of accumulation dissolves into me. Thou the mind of the four immeasurables of the reason within the mind streams of myself and sentient beings. May all sentient beings of happiness, may they be free from all suffering, may they never be separate from happiness, may they abide in equanimity. Appearance and existence, all phenomena of samsara and nirvana are empty by nature. Not realizing this, how afflicted are deluded beings in samsara. My own appearance appears as a white tree, the manifestation of unified emptiness, clarity, and compassion. The tree transformed into myself, appearing as Chenrezig, seated on a cushion of lotus and moon. I have one face and 4 arms, 2 are joined at the heart, and the other 2 hold a lotus and garland. Peaceful and with loving countenance, I am dressed in the garments of the Sambhogakaya Buddha. Sitting in cross-legged posture, my lower body is enfolded in a lotus. In the space in front, upon a seat of lotus and moon, appears a red tree gleaming with light. The light radiates, pleasing the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions and gathering the knowledge, love, and power. The light then dissolves back into the tree. Again, light rays radiate to the 6 realms, purifying the karmic visions, self-grasping and habitual imprints of sentient beings. The light gathered back, and the tree transformed into the supreme protector of beings, Buddha Amitabha. He is bright red like a mountain of rubies, with one face and 2 arms in equipoise mudra holding a begging bowl. He is garbed in the 3 Dharma robes and sits in cross-legged posture, ceaselessly looking upon beings with eyes of compassion. He appears as the great embodiment of all Buddhas. On his right is a noble supreme Chenrezig with one face and 2 arms, holding a white lotus with the left hand, white and adorned with jewels. He stands upright. To the left of the Lord is Bodhisattva Vajrapani, with one face and 2 arms holding a Vajra in the left hand. Blue and adorned with jewels, he stands upright. They are surrounded by assemblies of Bodhisattvas. The 3 places of the principal Lord are marked with the 3 syllables. From the syllables, white, red, and blue light radiates to the 10 directions, and in particular to the Pure Land of Sukhavati, invoking the heart pledge of Amitabha and his retinue, who then instantly appear at this place. the great bliss sphere of my own primordially pure awareness abides Amitabha and retinue at the naturally present innate radiance. From the beginning, the Samaya being and wisdom being are one. Yet your form manifests from the expanse of great love and compassion in accordance with the mental inclinations of beings. Following your heart ledge, come here to this place and be seated indivisibly from the mandala of the Samaya Om Amitabha Saparivana Vraja Samajadamba O Samayatishtam. Om Savavi Pura Pura Sura Sura Avatebhye Svaha. Om Savavi Pura Pura Sura Sura Avatebhye Svaha. Om I offer this water endowed with 8 attributes with the nature of generosity to the mouth of the victorious ones. May there be perfect fortune for all beings. I offer this foot cleansing water, clear, cool, pristine, and exquisite, and with the nature of morality, to the feet of victorious ones. May all beings be relieved from the torment of existence. I offer various beautiful celestial flowers that have the nature of patience to the eyes of the victorious ones. May all beings be endowed with the 7 attributes of the higher realms. I offer naturally sweet-smelling scents and blended incense that has a nature of diligence to the noses of the victorious ones. May all beings become free from the bonds of existence. I offer this precious, radiant and lustrous lamp that has a nature of meditation to the hearts of the victorious ones. May all beings clear away the dense darkness of the deluded minds. I offer fragrant medicinal elixir, saffron and the like, which have the nature of transcendent knowledge to the bodies of the victorious ones. May all beings realize the inner nature of phenomena. I offer food endowed with the essence of 100 tastes, with the nature of method, to the tongues of the victorious ones. May all beings be sustained by the fruit of samadhi. I offer harmonious musical sounds such as those of conch shell, drum and bell, which have the nature of power, to the ears of the victorious ones. May all beings be endowed with the awakening mind. I offer the 5 desirables that appeases the senses and have the nature of prayers to the victorious one. May all beings be satisfied by untainted bliss. I offer 8 auspicious substances, the 8 auspicious symbols and the 7 royal attributes, which have the nature of wisdom to the victorious ones. May all beings attain the attributes of Buddhahood. Om Sama Puja Mega Samudra Sparana Samaya. All origin and all things of the entire infinite billion-fold universe, my own body, enjoyments, and all possessions, I offer without holding anything back to the Pure Land of Sukhavati. May the self-grasping of beings be thereby fully pacified. May they be endowed with the awakening mind, and may the birth in the Pure Land be unobstructed. Om Ratna Mandala Puja Mega Ahu. Realizing that my own mind is a Buddha, I pay homage on the ultimate level. Abiding within ungraspable empty awareness, everything comprised within appearance and existence is offered. Deluded perceptions of dualistic grasping are confessed within the expanse of Dharmata. I rejoice within the state of the spontaneous completion of the three kayas. The Dharma wheel of unceasing compassion will always turn. Abide within the natural Dharmakaya that pervades all samsara and nirvana, in infinite pervasiveness where there is no reference point of the three spheres. Dedication will always take place. 3. Ever turning the wheel of Dharma in the Pure Land of Sukhavati, you unceasingly look upon sentient beings with compassion. Homage and praise to Amitabha, who abiding equipoise follows his pledge to act for the purpose of beings. To Chendrazik, Vajapani, the other bodhisattvas, the noble assembly of arhats, and the gathering of deities abiding in Sukhavati, I humbly pay homage and offer praise with body, speech, and mind. And the heart of myself appearing as Chendrazik on a moon disk is a tree surrounded by the 6-syllable mantra circling clockwise. From it light radiates and a white mantra garland issues forth, emerges from my heart and dissolves into the heart of the deity visualized in front. Thus Amitabha's compassionate heart pledge of body, speech and mind is invoked. From the mantra garland around the tree at the heart of Amitabha, a red mantra garland of light emerges from his mouth, enters my mouth, and I obtain blessing and attainments. In this way, the mantra circles continuously between myself and Amitabha. The multicolored light issuing from the circling mantra garland pleases the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, purifies the 3 types of obscuration of all sentient beings in the 3 realms, and in the universe and beings transformed into the Pure Land of Sukhavati.
Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadeva, Om Amadeva, Om Amadevasha.
你就做到法样，我做个些学个的，这当下，个嘞学送啊大的，先买过去那个，你他可当的个些学的讲呢，这当他地方的产业地方就把这多地的的收上啊什么呢，大大都会有的，第二呢的地方那还搞什么？一说他的来当我的这个来就这西国有的，一说他的南山深的呢，去就蓬勃节这一动的呢，上出什么那个上出去我有的，去蓬节这一动早上出什么的送，上什么的，这改个我的呢，甚至上去一年三年一把啦，这。老这帮熬呢嘛，就可当时嘛，强龙的时候呢，一上去后边的，一说他是嘛的，说他个大几年还有的，这下够了嘛的，上去干的的，上周甚至呢，强龙的时候呢，要就在这块卡上，热不上啊的，上啊的，就他们这个热不是我当的，对。
So then, friends, I will give a few words of teachings again. You can continue to recite the mantra quietly and remain undistracted. And so yesterday I already spoke a little bit about this topic. And so it's just generally, the Buddha's teachings can be summarized into three categories: the patimoksha or individual liberation, the bodhisattva path, and the vajrayana. And we have to understand the meaning of those. But the basis is the patimoksha. In the beginning, we have to understand karma. Then the path is the bodhisattva path. It is said that the 84,000 teachings of the Buddha are all contained within bodhicitta. They all are condensed into bodhicitta. And so what we need to understand here is that all beings are fundamentally Buddhas. They are temporarily obscured by this idea of me, that the I that exists. I already mentioned that yesterday, which is like an ice block. And when this ice block melts, there is no other Buddha than that. So the basis of Pratimoksha, here we still have a dualistic perception, so we don't understand this. But then on the Bodhisattva path, we melt the ice block and the ice becomes one with the ocean water. And then on the result is the Vajrayana, which is just like the fruit that we harvest in the end, the ripened fruit.
다베 바차도라들이 이시데 남시 이시름 보나 들이 상하고 동상에 껴들어서 주포제제 좀 뜨거 더 타고요래 동담 그때 맞더니다다 라니 속도이면 이제도 선거요래 저들 나와 탐제랑 셈이 도네 주변 타다 잘서 렌지치에서 뒤치만 이러면 되지 야세라리 좀 동담 그때 맞들 딱 저거래 같이 줄까 시에 되는 같이 시에 뒤는 뒤요래 랑 세대 내려도 통소나 들이 다다다 들이 타만 통도고요래 되려래
So we spoke about the generation stage and the purpose of the generation stage. That is because of the many thoughts in our mind that the six afflictions and then the six realms appear to us. And so then in order to pacify, purify those six afflictive emotions, we practice the six paramita. But this is how it is generally taught. But then the six afflictive emotions all arise out of self-grasping. There's not a single one that does not come from self-grasping. And so this is how one sees it if one understands the Vajrayana. And then one destroys just self-grasping. And from that arises primordial wisdom. Or we say consciousness transforms into primordial wisdom. And then, according to the Vajrayana, once that is transformed, we are able to condense the 84,000 teachings all into one single point, one single essence, which is the ultimate truth. The 37 Bodhisattva practices also explain the ultimate truth. And in one verse it says, appearances are one's own mind. From the beginning, mind's nature is free from the extremes of elaboration. Knowing this, not to engage the mind in subject-object duality is the Bodhisattva's practice. So that actually portrays the ultimate truth. when you see the nature of your mind, you will see everything.
变成智慧本来的智慧。如果能够晓得这个就是最主要的核心或者是过程，就能够了解一切84000法域是能够回归于一的。就像这样的话，了解这个道理，我们就了解了圣义谛，而这个圣义谛就是一切的源头，或者说可以说是终点或者是究竟。在佛子行37颂里面说，诸所显现为自心，心体本离系论边。所以这4句偈就完整的诠释了一切事物的本质。所以我们不论修什么，其实84000法运都可以总集于一，而这个圣义谛就可以总集于刚刚所讲的佛子行当中的这个偈颂。所有一切的教言都可以容纳于此，也就是了解心的实相，照见心的实相之后，便能够照见一切的道理。
这么来把这个生活里，你录到我爬上的小山上老那边的，实际上就爬到身上的里，空地已经你录到的，全部你录到什么？空地就讲了就哦。就是这个大地，你说这里这个他的空地呀，落着都他妈种的有的，这他们直接就讲的说的，直接他妈生的就挂来的，就这个生的就挂来的这个，这里，去就早啊嘛，就生的早啊出送的，去空地去的他没完，这个他就会有的。那个车生的那个空地有的。然后甚至他们生的3季生的，然后生的就把那些地瓜的菜过来，哦，这到那他们就那个生的，等着这里甚至这个嘞，那里什么用的了，哦，这到错就说这个的喂，这些就这个，拉不拉当。
那么就像密勒日巴尊者所说的。
So Milarepa said, aside from realizing the nature of your mind, there is no other perfection of wisdom than that. That is the perfection of wisdom, where you realize the nature of samsara and nirvana. So it is when you realize the nature of your own mind that you realize how samsara and nirvana actually exist, and kind of the substance of samsara and nirvana. You realize that samsara arises only out of self-grasping. And from this come all the 6 grams of samsara. And how does it exist? Why does it come into existence? It is created by the mind. And this creating mind is the same for all beings. They have the same mind. Milarepa also said that do not inquire into the root of phenomena, but look at the root of your mind. Science tries to get to the root of all phenomena of things, when we should really look inside at our mind, where we realize that my own mind and all beings' mind, the Buddha's mind, is one. And this is perfectly shown in that verse of the 37 practices. Appearances are one's own mind. It's through knowing that you can gain complete certainty in how things really are. So, do you feel you have experienced it? You understand it? If you do, please raise your hand. So, if you understand that, you have understood the actual nature of the mind. Appearances are your own mind. Even if you are about to speak about all of the words of the Buddha, all the different teachings of the Buddha, if you just understand that appearances are your own mind, you understood the essence. And the mind is just like electricity, for example. Electricity is what powers everything in the world, all the different devices. Don't look at the devices, but look at the electricity. For example, it powers your phones. There's different devices, but the electricity is the same. And the electricity is just like the mind. Do you understand this? Who understands this? Whoever understands this, again, please raise your hand.
Eva ho, Eva. See, ha, go to Bobby, then ha, go. A Bobby, the main carried. Now I'm tired. Now I'm tired. Now I'm to the same with it. Now you say, now you're telling so no, you did not teach you talking about nothing you go. Oh, then now I'm to the same with it. Call the Danji, the Danji, the word that was Muji. That was Danji, the Muji. Oh, that you know, you already. Oh, ma, call the Kakase to the Tehako, Tehako.
And so then you, if you understand this, then you will also understand the Buddha Amitabha. So do you understand the Buddha Amitabha? For example, as the name already implies, the Buddha Amitabha's name is boundless, say boundless light, but also boundless appearance. And Nangwa can also be appearance. And so the mind, everything appears is the mind. All appearance is the mind. The entire universe, all beings, there's boundless, infinite appearances. And that's all the mind. It's all created by the mind. Samsara is created by the mind of self-grasping. So we, for example, think that that's me and that's him. We're all separate individuals. So that's the samsaric mind. So do you understand this?
Okay, that about me, Harrison. About me to Sanjay of the Sanjay didn't carry a Sanjay. Really, Nang, Kong, Sanjay did not be a bit of it. Really, some Lord, they sang over it. Take really something that Tabatu, take really something so, not coach.
So that's great. You have understood Amitabha. So Amitabha is the same as all the Buddhas. What is a Buddha? Sangye. Sang means to clear away. What's cleared away? So there is this idea of everything is real. I'm real, he's real, the world is real, all the people, the beings are real. There's this very solid heart and mind that thinks everything is concrete and real. That is what needs to clear away. This thought of it's all true, it's real. So who thinks everything is real? Please raise your hand.
사강지 양사 저 사공고들아지 차요고요래 네디디야 윤가세 네네 네디 저다 사면 토로요래 사강 토야 고마리는 토로래 선우지 뒤는마다 다 무시들이 레기 봐서 하잖아 다 남을 좀 와야지 강관을 가는 또로도 가지 내 박자 내 가서 왔다 또로래 그럼 이제 또 마음을 토로래 그 노도 내들인지 뒤가면 단지 뒤가면 다다 대들이 감도 대기 요리데 남의 때문에 대기 오면에 서로지들 리즈베레 오 이제 다다 제일 거는 석강 토로레서 고마 가도 고마 고다 까마리 toge tatar sendoge toge kamade o srungi ta mita parede tuje tar gongro won toge do sana soga ko lo ya.
And so there's also a difference between really believing that everything is real, or at least having some doubts and being not so sure. Maybe it's not so real, but still kind of thinking it. So in any case, for those who still think things are real, so the outer world, all form is actually empty. Later, we will all die and turn into ash. The body turns into ash. And then also the same is true for our planet, our world. And actually there is millions of planets just like this. It's a constant turning of planets coming into existence, then staying for some time, and then again dissolving, disintegrating. So this world, this planet is just like a heap of dust that naturally just forms together. And then it stays for however long it stays, and in the end, it will disintegrate again. For example, when there's a collision with other planets, then it will all fall apart and collapse. And we can see that in the night sky, each and every night, the brilliant stars actually are planets collapsing. So each and every day, a world is collapsing like that. And then also within our world, because we have accumulated negative karma, there is fighting and wars, there's bombs falling and destroying houses and so on. And that's because of very powerful karma. But in the end, everything will collapse just like that. And so actually, none of that truly exists. But there is this planet hovering in space, and there's our bodies within that. And our body is really the microcosm of the world. So that couldn't finish that.
샘들 나지니면 하고 샘들 나지니면 또 나지니도 샘 따게 땅난 샘나 다 샘들로 이쪽아나 그 거기서 나의 샘이 가가로 해서 레다 뉴모가 대도를 만나도 가가려면 샘이 되들이 차바티과 로도 대서 가고
So yeah, in the end, Rinpoche was asking, so who understands that everything will turn into dust? You raise your hand, so that was that. And so then Rinpoche says everything is impermanent because things are compounded. Everything turns into emptiness eventually. And also our mind, the actual nature of our mind, however, that will always remain. That the mind is, in a sense, eternal. And you see that when you realize that self and other do not exist. So you should really analyze that. Look how self and other are actually not separate. So we think that, oh, that's my mind, that's his mind, and so on, we separate. But actually, what's separate is just our afflictive emotions and karma. The actual mind is the same. So it is just like electricity. Do you understand this?
대대로 조란데다 라르 나와 타이고 송 라르 샘들이 또 하고 샘들 남과다 그래 샘들 남시도 이시이슈래 세부 내로 또는 이시리죠 그거를 이시가 될 남시 나오 상반지 사바다만 다지 이디는 말하나 들이 남시 강자게 오다 샘콩 나오 잡아는 뭐도 없으면 매바로래 동상 같이 따라 통그 말이 뺏어도 바가지라 말이야 샘시쇼 빼요라 대셔 세자라 대시 저 다그 소리 다그 지 자식을 다 봐서 자들을 가르치지 뭐 심지 들지 공짜 로버트인 거리 로버트 한걸로 대명고 탑에 대다다 제엠드 선 거리
And then now speaking about, we're going to speak a bit about the completion stage today. In the text it says, the innate awareness is a form of Amitabha. If you understand the nature of the mind, you know my mind is like space. We mentioned before, the mind is either the dualistic consciousness or the primordial wisdom. And so when you think that there's me and I, there's self and other, then that's the dualistic consciousness. And when you realize that actually there is no me, and all of a sudden everything becomes completely empty, then no matter how much you try to find it, actually, you won't find anything. That's when you realize primordial wisdom. There was the story about the Drukpa, a Kagyu Lama, who advised his disciple to find the self. So the disciple wanted to have teachings, and he said, so first you go find the self, and then you get the teachings. And he kept looking for the self, but he couldn't find it. He reported back to the Lama and said, I didn't find it. And then the Lama said, so what are you doing here then? And he said, well, I'm here to receive teaching. And so there it is. There is the I. I'm here to receive teaching. But this is how it arises. It's just like a momentarily, there is this concept, it's a momentary thought of how I that suddenly arises. And so in order to turn this around, or in order to purify this, we practice the generation stage, the visualization.
제림을 필요해도 진짜다 nga jibo yungdo song lo de yo ti ka me de ka ta cheng ba be gong de ta cheng no so ba be ji lam su sem na ji jik ta bo de ba be ji ya na ta ju nga wo na ba sa yo ma le ba be ji na nga yo ma nga de yo na ba be yo ma le de so ka ko.
And so that's why we practice the generation stage, because we think I want to be happy. So to remedy that, I say, to visualize Amitabha. And when you think of Amitabha instantly, then you, in that moment, you don't think about anything else. The I is not here at all. If you think of Amitabha, there's no I. If you think of I, there's no Amitabha. Who understands this?
他接了问题把对嘞，对了的，啥叫差王不？啥就对着呢？俺没不就俺没把当着，这接了问题把对同时，这大官追过去的，他们追，他们追个要不？他们一切没把追过去的，这个俺或者谁了啥的，一切没把追过去，俺或者我们这啥要等这样一个人，他当我那个路说，大有不干啥，看看有的。那一些吧嘞，俺那些一些的，要么就是吃到嘛，人家我吃的嘞，这下搞头了，对的哦，他啥可能俺们都你他们就看我他们我把吃掉，俺也等了有嘞，俺这我去说，这他们现在做的，这个他们是不是这个嘛都有嘛嘞，这个俺什么的嘞，这下搞头的嘞，哦，啥搞头俺有嘛嘞。这啥就上这了，他们哦，咱们屁股这里落在这里，这个方面咱们这个方面我怎么查的有嘞？那他工商忙啊，落的，让一个都不记得，一个工作都不是记得的，什么这个工作都不，这些都不查的嘞，咱工作都不他个呢，这么讲的，工作不咱是这样的，各种都用的一个让一家的经营不用吧，当咱这里。参加用这用这样的，因为我是参加差着嘞，大人参加嘞，你咋把清楚呢？这个做参加，这个了，这个做参加，这个是干起什么了？我参加干什么？你咋把清楚呢？是。
所以这个就是升起次第的。
This is the power of the generation stage. Of the many hundreds of deities, if you just practice a single deity, that in an instant, the moment you think of the deity, you're not thinking about me. So that's the power of the generation stage. But it's important to always remember it. Normally, we remember it sometimes, but not all the time. It's important to always remember it. And in order to remember it, we hear the sound of the mantra, we visualize this mantra garland, because we have to connect to the deity again and again. So in this way, the mind, which is currently like the consciousness, the dualistic consciousness, which is currently like dirty water, muddy water, then eventually through connecting to the deity repeatedly becomes pure water. So finally you recognize that if I think of the deity, I'm not thinking of myself. And all the suffering since beginningless time comes from that self. The imprint is a habitual tendency of thinking me. It is said that the greatest demon is the clinging to a me, a self. All sentient beings in the three realms have a single demon, the greatest demon, and that is that thought of me. So if you practice the deity, you don't think of that me. And the essence of the deity is love, a wish to benefit all beings. When that thought arises, you actually become the Buddha Amitabha. Or also it is said in the Samantabhadra prayer, from the beginning you are Samantabhadra. So that's called the ground Samantabhadra, the basis. It is Buddha nature. All beings possess Buddha nature. And on the path Samantabhadra is visualizing yourself as Samantabhadra. And that is the moment you think of Samantabhadra, you think about his qualities of body, speech, and mind. So then through the basis, your Buddha nature and the path of remembering the Buddha's qualities, the Dharma qualities, you actually become that Buddha right now in that moment. In the Manjushri Namasangiti, it says, you are a Buddha in an instant, and the next instant, again, a sentient being.
这一点是真的这么一回事，就像是在无数真实明经里面说，于一刹那能分别，一刹那中正等觉，这是佛陀所亲口宣说的教言，所以实际上并就是如此。
这哈古说什么？这是他常见用的常见的，你们都这哈古说。我打的当地的唱诵，当地唱歌的打南上甚至，是说头的这个罗尔就看看差点的说他的，他的他个呢南上基地就过来的，甚至100万的我有的，这上这个有的，他上这南上甚至的。南家他们不用南上出什么多的，这里早上出什么的种，这南上什么东西来的。
了解这个道理的话，我们就能够。
So if you understand that, you understand the quality of what actually a Buddha is. So as we said, Sang is having cleared the way of Sangha. So when you understand that, you think, now I have understood. I have understood that I need to clear away self-grasping, dualistic grasping. Now it is cleared away. Now I can go on to the path of bodhicitta. So on the basis of pratimoksha, the 6 realms all appear separately. To free ourselves from that, we must enter the path of the bodhisattvas. The mind must realize non-duality. To realize non-duality, we must cultivate love. Although there are hundreds of different paths, the essence of all paths is bodhicitta. And that is why the path is called the path of bodhicitta.
但是在进入到菩萨道的时候，就要以菩提心去摄持而取代我的概念。如果能够在内心当中升起菩提心的话，就能够了解，纵使有100条或者是1000条的修行的道路，其实都会归于菩提心的这一条调道上面。
第一次了，这里是他，他浪上韩国了，他的。甚至他们甚至是用过那个的哈高中，到甚至他们甚至把那些老的哈高中，咱们那个老他们哈高中，在什么那老哈高中，甚至哈高呢，这里的另外个人做不到，马上东西个人做不到的，当多少都什么那老哈马上，大家讲可能这里的高中，但你们这个来做当多少都强入到强说，这哈高中强入的个人。나가 차도 대미 가지고도 어디 이비를 놓고 이비는 나는 가라시 모르는 나 사고서 나 때문에 도 랍다 때리지 또 나요 말이 베르데 나가 이거지 너무 오래돼 이비를 놓대 독사지 이비쯤에 이비쯤 사바츠니 이렇게 뒤리지 sel로 다니미가 차도요 베는 말을 맥점도 해봐도 제대로 안 지를 맥점되네 나 툭툭툭 사고 사바스미 이제 토와 유리시는 토만 자고는 줄 놓고 이걸 툭툭툭 그래 랑땅랑땅 씹을 때라고 요래 새벽에 찍찍 씹어야지 그래 이 로아도 너무 이상적으로 레 박사디 차도로 유몽 레서 아저디 똑같이 하면 생각하고 똑같이 해요 말아 어때 쳤어들이 대식도 못 되더니 그거 싸마차라 그래서 사지에 담지 잡고 그래 셔도르지 마자는 자샤로도가 남까지 자투는 자샤로도가 대신은 이제리 딱봐 나도 sempre 이제리 딱봐 상하도 이제리 딱봐 까리 딱봐서
So and then but when you understand the Vajrayana, the inner meaning of the Vajrayana, then you know what you understand is that all beings possess Buddha nature. So that all beings have the same mind. And that mind is just like electricity. For example, one electricity powers everything in the world, all the devices in the world. So it's good to understand the happiness that comes from realizing the nature of the mind, and also the suffering that comes from not realizing the nature of the mind. If we do not realize the nature of the mind, we always bring this self with us. And that always leads to afflictive emotions and negative karmas, 6 afflictions, 6 kinds of karmas, and causing us to wander in the 6 realms of samsara endlessly. So what can we do about, how can we heal that self? What kind of medicine do we need? We need the altruistic mind. For example, if you have a plate of very delicious food in front of you and you feel like, I want to eat this, instead, if you give it to your loving friend and not eat it yourself, then you are selfless. You're not thinking about yourself. That's that's the altruistic mind. All suffering without exception comes from wishing for one's own happiness. If you have love for others, there is no self-clinging. For example, also as a personal experience, normally when I close my eyes, it's just kind of dark. That's just a complete pitch black. But then when I think of love and compassion, it seems that all of these like dark spots all turn into little rainbows in the sky. It all kind of lights up. So it's all just at a moment. The mind changes moment to moment. It can change moment to moment. So we need to understand that all suffering of the 6 grams comes from the karmic patterns of the afflictive emotions. And that is what has defiled the mind. But the actual mind can actually not become defiled. It's just a layer over it that needs to be removed so that we can see clearly our Buddha nature. And when we clearly see it, it is just like the sun shining on a crystal ball, and many rainbow lights emerge from the crystal ball. The entire universe, everything appears from this nature, from Buddha nature. The entire outer universe and all beings are these rainbow lights. So therefore, from the Vajrayana's perspective, the outer universe is pure. All beings are actually pure. So the essence of Vajrayana is this original purity, this primordial purity.
라기 니디 다 그러면 라기 니디 맞어나 서로 다 과연을 평균 말에 라기 니디 다 발세 버렸다. 검사 사람들은 우리한테 다 과차 그렇게 오대 문에래 탐진도 지라지 맞다 봐 동반이래다 디디데 시작을 그래 범잡 사조서 거나 되게 맞죠 되게 소소도 생 니디 랍당 매바 차로 요래 랍당 땡이 통통 요래 그래서 통통하대 되게 다 좋아하면 해 되는 바빠서 제대로 좋아하는
So when one realizes the generation stage, one sees the outer universe as the divine palace of the deity and all inner sentient beings as Buddhas. And one understands that although there are sentient beings in the six realms, they are actually Buddhas. They're only obscured by momentary stains, and that is their karmas and habitual imprints. But they can become purified, just like cleaning a dirty mirror and become purified. The mind itself is always unobscured. The mind has no stains itself. In the Vajrayana practice, through Vajrayana practice, we realize that self and other are not separate. Karma ultimately is emptiness. On the relative level, karma is unfailing. That is, for as long as we perceive self and other as separate, we do have experiences of happiness and suffering. So therefore, karma is unfailing. But from the perspective of the ultimate truth, self and other are not separate. And when you realize that, there is no basis for afflictive emotions to arise. And that is what is meant by realizing the primordial purity. So through the generation stage, in the end, everything dissolves. At the end of the generation stage, which is the cause, the result is the completion stage, where all dissolves. So we have said there's Pratimoksha, the Bodhisattva yana, and the Vajrayana. And the Vajrayana is the fruition, the result, or the completion stage, essentially. And the view of the completion stage is that all appearances are the deity and all sound is the mantra. Through the completion stage, self-grasping, dualistic perceptions, and thoughts are all purified. And that's something you have to do for yourself. You have to purify your own self-grasping. If your perception doesn't become pure, then it's no benefit to you that in reality the outer world is pure. You don't see that. So to see that, you have to meditate and practice. First, you have to understand. You have to understand this is how it actually is. Everything is actually compounded. All compounds are impermanent. Therefore, they are empty. So through this understanding, you let go somewhat of your belief in the true reality of things. And then you practice authentic meditation. You meditate and cultivate bodhicitta. And then one day, in an instant, self-grasping dualistic thoughts are not here. They disappear. And you see your true nature just for a short moment. That's the completion stage. And so in order to realize that, we repeatedly practice the completion stage.
你就当没说家，如今这种这样子我们去恰当看黑的没说家。
Now we take a break. During the break, just take it easy. Don't rush around. Just take your time using the bathroom.
你上海人来了，接触了商车送，接触了商车送行业嘞，怕讲究的可能讲过有，我哩电把嘞，那电把买嘞，大家在上过嘞，电把嘞上就，上过电把嘞上就在讲过嘞，我哩嘞，得听我起码上，这个讲这个地方，我差不多用个身体是把这个。不说就把这讲来的，来就这些把的，死了的这个成光着对嘛嘞，本说的这里是3、6个月嘞，本说的怕他个8家多月嘞，是不是大地的嘛？你本说的8家多月嘞，这里长期把都是带考用的，第大个的去没那么用的，这里没那么干不着，这里说杨家考的，他在人家人说，哦，这地方话嘞。没让他去什么地方下头了，他，那底下真的是应该人家下头有嘞。这下过程哦，他不说用俺这玩意的，这怎么的哩？大地不说的嘞，这女木搞家有嘞。人品个落掉，人品不少来说，他们有个人对没得，他大地的他咋不能呢？没给这他妈的大地的这个有嘞，俺去也不有个，这人刚他说。中国嘛，这种这下可能说呢，这个俺地方下的这些皮肉怕他说呢，这个做人的这里，从他这里，一个的一个东北的，东北人们这做人这人，东北人们这做人，东北人这些人在就嘛的怕的，他是特别这种怕那这里家从那里来就是。要从这里就他的，这就是这里的哦，要从这是他们的做人对的，被你把说我要把掉的娘的一个，哦，那他们都是然后下有有来去，哦，怕听见那个听着有来去，有嘞，这到这呢，这到下个这做了上车的了，没，我在该有么的这边落的没，哦。老个的帮他的刚才讲，那得有是哦，他的有这个我那他大那的我的起码对吧？大姐你没的，这边都是那东啦的，哦，那还有了，对我让你懂吧？我的这把马着吧，这个这种个上出的。我的起码得把讲的哦，你看没人吧？有关没人，这把没问这么一个拉的，吃我的，拉到这块儿这拉了一个，就当我那个身子，这当我接人的长出上。
那么在密州圣地
So in the generation and completion stages, we also call them the literally the enlightenment of generation and completion, but it really means the changchup, which means purifying and then mastering, the purification and mastering, which translates to enlightenment. And so what is purified is that the thoughts of this is real, this is true, and this is not real, that's not true. So first, actually, we have to purify that thought, this is real. It's because we believe in the true existence of things, of everything that appears to us, the concrete existence, that we place many habitual imprints of that in our mind. And then karmically, they will come back and reflect back to us. Naturally, it's not like an outer law that is being imposed on us, but it's the nature of things that whatever we put in our mind will be reflected back to us, just like taking pictures. You keep taking a picture every time you think me. There's this imprint, this picture being taken that is stored, that's there. And that you bring with you also into the bardo after this life. A sign of that is your dreams, for example. So first you have those daytime perceptions when you're awake, and then at night you have all kinds of dreams. And in the dreams, actually, your future lives already begin to manifest. So, in fact, within a single day and night, you experience this and future life. So there is this imprint of me that is like taking a picture over and over again. And these afflicted imprints are then stored in the mind and will eventually be projected back to us. So because of self-grasping in the world, everyone engages in many non-virtuous actions, 10 non-virtuous actions, because I want to be happy. And for that sake, I will do anything. I will fight with others and so forth. So there's pure and impure in this world. And so that's the appearance. And then the completion is the final dissolution of everything. So finally you realize that everything doesn't really exist. It's not that nothing really exists, but also it does not exist. Existence and non-existence are both empty. There is no belief in any of it to be true. So to release all grasping at all, that's the completion stage. In the generation stage, the visualization, we visualize the illusory form of the deity. And here we understand the illusory appearance of the world, of appearances that appear just like a rainbow in the sky. And eventually, in the end, the rainbow also dissolves. In the completion stage, the mind is very clear. So first, in the generation stage, you clearly visualize the deity, and in the end, it dissolves into the clear, empty sky of the mind. So that is the purpose of generation and completion stages. So the generation stage is to clear away this belief in that's real. For example, there is those pure lands and the Sambhogakayas that we think they are real, but they are not really in the sense of substantial concrete existence. Like we see things right now, these solid things that are dualistic. So the Sambhogakayas are not real in that sense. The deity is appearing, it appears and yet is empty. It is empty appearance. So it appears, but its nature is actually empty. It does not possess a material, concrete existence. So the generation and completion stages are, we practice them in order to purify this belief in a concrete reality. And ultimately, both fixations to existence and non-existence, real and unreal, all must become purified, cleared away. And that is mastered. So that is Zhang, to purify and master. So that is the purpose of the generation stage and completion stage. And that corresponds to that verse in the 37 practices. Appearances are one's own mind.
우리 제름데 상무지라고 르르페이자 르디 중앙하나 팝는 중앙한테 사완이 세 중앙 남상한이 뭔가나 내가 요래 내가 샤다를 봐서 타저 옥로도메 셈남카소 대사에 가도 지리 최 가도 도지리 매 가도 빼매래 롱 가도 레지리 들이 남고 감데 들이 죽어지 사지를 지를 밥도리 르나도 돈다고티 받들이 뛰는 밥용 거래 들이 받으러 들이 지리들이 다다다다 제르는데 나지요 나와서 그래 세븐 나지요 대는 것보다 제일 쉬운 거 이보라 다다다 제름장 버거 가리 다 노래 들이 다도 가리 요 뭐다 매번 요라 랍사 요 저거 맨날 랍사 과메 저거 대저고 차고 그래 대사도 들이 대 달래서 그요 말이 레마사라들이 레사지다 다다 물람물이 다다다 체인데 니가 따버리 남람 따버리 고다데 파도 따버 쪼가치 따버리 니 말이 했어요 조는 거기 다 파도 물람데 물람거리 샤운도 내도 소와 샤운도 사 세디베 소다 빠잡서 대처 샤운데 랑그식으로 우리 제가 가마도 대하고 또 그래 대하고 또 사람들이 대 이모를 가래 오다 사족서 제다 사족서 제다 살라 그리다들이 뭐가 나도 대야요만 대래들이다 동네 매번 대화 첨보소 세분대로 콜마시들이 지와쳐요 말이지 남카들이 제시 매가지 세분 남카 체비라서 세분대로 돌아들이 집하고면서 말아봐 왕 탐치들이 내로 돌을 주고 동지도 왕자 통은 동고들이 내로 돌을 주고 그래서 내로 돌을 주고 봐야 랑생 내로 도서나 돌이지 뭐 빼들 되고 말이다 되고 내로 도서라고 다 주지요 그래 세분 내로 하고 저는 뒤져만 돼요 당당들이 됐다고 이 속을까지 들이 제법에가 차놓으려 그래 그러니까 저는 다 따분은 아주 이러고 그래
So in terms of the generation stage to visualization, the body is connected to the outer universe. The body is like an example of the outer universe. And the body, in essence, consists of the 5 elements. So outwardly, there's the 5 elements. Inside are the 5 afflictive emotions, and they are connected to each other. The elements and our body are like this. The flesh is the earth element, and the blood, for example, the water element, the breath, the wind element, the body heat, the fire element, and the mind is the space element. And then each of these elements is connected to one of the 5 Buddha families. The earth element is connected to the Ratna Sambhava, or the jewel nature, the Ratna nature. Then the water element is connected to the Vajra nature. The fire element is connected to the lotus family. The wind element is connected to the karma family, the activity family. And then the space element is connected to the Buddha family, or the Dharmakaya. So in this sense, also the ultimate reality is within our body. When we are born, from the moment we are born, we experience the various appearances of this world and ordinarily hold them to be true. As an antidote to this fixation, we practice the generation stage. And through visualizing, we slowly purify this belief in a concrete reality. And then when that becomes purified, what happens next? There is no more thought of that exists or that does not exist. If something is there, then it can not be there. You can make it not be there in a moment. And if something is not there, you can make it appear in any moment. It's ready to appear at any moment. So if you realize that, then you no longer accumulate karma. So in our daily life, we have our daytime, our waking state perceptions, and then we have our dream perceptions. And the dreams that we have at night are exactly the same as the bardo. So we experience this life and the bardo each and every day. And the dream state is connected to the completion stage. In the completion, the dream manifests the various experiences of the dream, the various imprints, the pictures that we have taken and stored in our mind. They all manifest. All experiences are a projection of one's own mind being reflected back to oneself. So all appearances are your own mind. But that is what you will realize at the end. So what we need to practice is, we need to seal this practice with a mind of bodhicitta. And then ordinary afflictions and thoughts can no longer arise. It is that then you experience great bliss beyond suffering. You realize the nature of your own mind that is beyond birth and death. Like space. Space isn't born and it doesn't die. It is that mind and space are not separate. It is also said that when you realize the nature of your mind, there is no higher learning than that. And Milarepa explained the meaning of the empowerment and said that when you realize the nature of your mind, that is receiving the actual empowerment. So we may receive hundreds of empowerments, but in essence, we need to understand the nature of our mind. And when you realize the nature of the mind, you can resolve everything. You understand everything. So in the end, everything comes back into the completion stage. We dissolve, and then again we arise. We fall into a deep sleep state. We fall unconscious, and this is the point where the completion stage practice comes in. So as you fall asleep into this deep sleep state, you should rest your mind within the natural state of mind, which we call the view. So you're falling asleep while resting in the nature of the mind. And for the completion stage, there's two kinds. There is the instantaneous completion, and then there is the gradual completion or dissolution. So the gradual dissolution or completion is where each of the different parts of the visualization dissolves. So starting from the protection, fear, and so on, everything gradually dissolves. The instantaneous dissolution is here you rest within the natural state of the mind in an instant. So in an instant, everything becomes empty. For example, often as to kind of represent that, to encourage that, I sound a gong, and there's two gongs. At the first gong, everything dissolves instantly. Instantly, all thoughts stop, and you rest in the view. There's no thought at all in your mind. That is the completion stage. Then later, there's a second gong, and that is when you again arise as the deity, or instantly, without thinking, you think of the home. So if you don't do that, if in that moment you hear the gong, if you don't think of the home, for example, then again the mind will become confused. There will be ordinary consciousness. If you think of home, if you think home, then that protects your mind. That is why also in the Yamantaka practice, we visualize those to be protected in the belly of the home syllable. So we need to protect the mind by resting in the view, and the view is all pervasive. So there is also an important instruction for kind of daily practice. So normally when you fall asleep, try to fall asleep with an awareness of home. Just think home, and as you fall asleep. And then the moment you wake up from sleeping, again, immediately think home. Because normally if you don't do that, immediately the first thought that comes is me. I slept, I'm getting up, and so on. So the home is an antidote to that. The moment you think of home, you don't think of me. Or you can also think of Chandresic, for example, or any other deity or the Mani mantra. But you have to think of something like that, so you don't think of me. And then the home is the heart each syllable of all the deities. Therefore, if you think of the home, you hold the essence of all the Buddhas of the 3 times. And I've explained that many times before, so you can listen to that. So the moment you wake up, immediately think home, wake up within home. So that is the arising again after the completion stage. We arise again as the deity. So that's the arising. And if you train in that, then the confused perceptions of the bardo will not manifest. And that actually is the ultimate result of the completion stage practice.
다 좀마 잡도만 동시 삼시 영 피부를 못 잡듯어. 티 집부터 하면서다 내시고 저래가 사면 내가 다 보자고 내 뒤지면 드림바디 제티도 말해 서로 좀 드림은 뭐 접지도 못이나 드림바 나냐 봐요 말이 나오냐 남도 저래디 디들은 코와 토마에 박차 똑수지 다들이 난진 제오체에서 사실은 제탑세 잡고 하래서 남도 저래 이런 또 하정시 보여대 대 주말에 대 람람람 연필을 어디 집이 rum에 계속 내가 담아 집이 rum에 계속 삼선 등하요 말 대담아다 지시 대 지시 중국고 연필을 하면서 될 라마티라 저거 라시 라마르치 봐서 때문에 때 열기당 저 람들의 저거를 가르치는 라기디 나이도 받사들이 집이 rum에 되게 무슨 연필을 뭐 잡비만 우리 대하고 요래 되게 저런 문제가 찾다 봤대 내가 상하들 되게 집들이 좀 어떻게 들때 상하랑 이거 타들 거서나 이거 타들이 집들이 좀 라게 샘들라 뭐똥 밖에 추가를 해지 라지 사베이 시대로 원거를 해지 들 삼세에 심지 탑들이 좀 사바 체비를 뜻쪽을 해서 그 사람이 흘지 저러지야서 그 사람이 샘도 창거요래 내가 거서 지내요 말에 오 샘도 뭐 똥방이 나 갔다 와서 추가를 해지 오 또 도장망에 살람에 참하고도 오 데리고 요요래시 오 데 하마 오래 답이 너무 막 보는 거로 이제 고소디 하고 막 지지라 이제 요래 뒤쪽으로 해서 데리쪽은 좀 요래 오 그것을 그것을 렌즈 돌아지 거기들이 동담 이라는 말이네 대송사의 대일성 그것은 렌즈 돌아야고 성을 그것은 대라고 대마들이 대마들 이제 뒤로 말해 나를 이제 뒤로 맞게요래 딱 보니 일단 참아 찍어두고 일단 참아 찍어두고 찍어두고요래 들이가가다 셔차와 이 연주를 한번 쏘래 들어가 쓰면 나도 그걸 난 홍무대나 로마대나 저거대 홍무대라 사지 탐지 톡도요래 홍 홍지는 나야마 요담도 딱게 당겨서 왜 나서 홍지는 망도는 또
In the 7 verses of protection and Tataram, it says, mindful Mother Goddess, please protect us. So normally, ordinarily, we think that I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing all the work, and so on. And now, if you think of if you're mindful, your mindfulness is Tara. If you think of Tara, you don't think of yourself, and you don't think I did this and I did that. And that's this thinking of I. That's the worst imprint that we bring with us since beginningless time. That's why the Buddha has said that the greatest demon is this thought of me. So the moment you think of Tara, you don't think that I did this, I did that. You think that Tara did this and Tara did all of that. There's no thought of me, and so that is that's what Thigpen Sumgön meant when he said in this prayer, "Mindful Mother Goddess, please protect us." We need to understand that Tara is your own mindfulness. So you can see that Tara's mindfulness or your own guru, you can see your own mind as the guru or as a Yidam deity, like Tara. So ultimately, to realize that is the fruition of the Vajrayana. So if you think of Tara, you're mindful, and within mindfulness you find the 3 kayas within your own mind. The empty essence of your mind is the Dharmakaya. But it's not just nothingness, not just empty. It is also very clear. The natural clear mind is the Sambhogakaya. And then that Sambhogakaya, that clear, empty mind, has love for all beings. And from that arises the Nirmanakaya. So in this way, the three kayas are spontaneously perfected or complete within your own mind, and they're not anywhere else. So if you understand that, you understand my mind is empty, it's the Dharmakaya, I'm clear, I'm mindful, it's the Sambhogakaya, and I feel great compassion for those beings who do not realize that and therefore have to suffer a lot. From that compassion, the Nirmanakaya arises. So this is how the three kayas are spontaneously present within your own mind. So this is really the 7 verses of supplication to Taram. These 7 supplications really are like an ultimate supplication. Therefore, especially that verse here with mindful Mother Goddess is something you should definitely keep in mind. So your mindfulness is Taram, or any of the Yidam deities, but I personally think Taram. And any Yidam deity is gathered within one deity. So one deity is the essence of all deities. So that completes the instructions. So again, just in the end, remember that the mindful Mother Goddess Tara is your own mind, your own mindfulness. And to remind yourself of that, just think of the Hung. That's why Hung is most important. Hung is the mind of all the Buddhas. If you think of Hung, you don't think of me. You should try it out, really analyze it, try it out. If I think of Hung, I really think of Hung, is there a me or not? You will find that the Hung is like a bomb that destroys, shatters this thought of me.
같이 어째 주저 하송 공다 안지기 중된 데다래 네 기타랍 치모진 참이 유는 못해 냠리만 보지네 네 냠리 제송 상디 차마데 또배가 차도요래 되게 뭐하고 나지 나지디 남도 책대 이바테다 오데 제티르 말이야 왜저 제티르 투진 접소 제티르 투진 접소 상상 라게 용 때마다 이제 좀 마다서 빠트는 못지 담아 찍대서 라게 용때 내가 뭐 가르치는 예세만데 어떻게 제티르 못게 사제기 제가 그래 별이 집았다나 와 사제기 집한테 피우서 되게 받아고 사제기 제발에 대별하게 담가래 되게 말이서 이 하자 그지 뭐 대책대 대토를 지고래 뒤지 당제 마대로나 많이 양고래 이 양대비 자주고 같이 자가지고 자가지고 말이야 이건 뭐야 이 자기고 되고 샘냠도 좋고요 이 양대냠대 가리 동도 샘냠도 좋고 말이야 나 샘냠도 좋고 하고 우리 동도 이 양고래 이거 다코르나랑 동호스나 가보나 다코르 땅잖아 들이 저 자탑지 잘해줘 들랑나지 박차줘 람사 되게 다코르나리 마타비 주야기 치고요 해지 내 당근에 셔서서 뭔가
Sorry, there's one thing I actually forgot to mention that's actually very important that I need to mention. So that fault of self-grasping is like this. So, for example, there are some people who do some really major meritorious things. They do great virtuous things, or they do a very long-term retreat, or they just have done a lot of practice. And then I did all this practice. And just thinking that one time, actually, you lose all the power of the practice you have done, which is also good, why it is good to dedicate our virtue. But so you need to understand that this single one thought of, I did this, I did all this practice and so on, that one single thought has this tremendous power to take away all the power of the good things that you have actually done, to destroy it all. Therefore, it's better to think it's all due to the blessing of Tara. It's all Tara's doing, actually. Pato Rinpoche gave a very important instruction, and he said that do not look at your own good qualities, do not look at the faults of others. So when you find yourself thinking, I did this or that, change it and think that Tara did it. It's Tara's blessing or the Buddha's blessing. For example, if you are very generous and think that it's because the Buddha taught me about the benefits of generosity, so the Buddha did it, or the Yidam deity did it. Don't think I did this and that. That's a very important instruction that you definitely remember. And then one other thing is that when you recite the mantra, it's important to recite the mantra, to chant it in a melody. Often people just focus on reciting many numbers of mantras, but that's actually secondary. It's more important to spend more time with the mantra, just chanting it beautifully, because then the mind stays there. The mind goes together with the mantra or the mantra gala. That's the point of practicing mantra. The mind has to be together with the mantra. And that is why we should chant it in a beautiful melody. To support that, you can play a recording of a mantra, like on a CD, on a loop at home. And eventually, when you familiarize yourself with the sound of the mantra, all sounds will be heard as the mantra. You place that kind of imprint into your mind. That's very important. So it's important to always hear the sound of the mantra. So therefore, it's good to play those recordings on a loop. So now that's really the end. I'm sorry for that.
Om Amadevasha, 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 Om Amadevasha.
Innate awareness is a form of Amitabha. Look at the mind that is free from subject-object duality. There is no other Amitabha than that. How wondrous is the truth body of self-knowing awareness.
Om Amadevasha, 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 No Amadevasha, Om 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 Amadevasha, No Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, No Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, No Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Om Amadevasha, Amadevasha, Om 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 Amadevasha.
Transcendent conqueror, protector Buddha Amitabha, a noble assembly of loving bodhisattvas, compassionately look upon us afflicted beings and guide us to the pure land of Sukhavati. In accord with your past bodhicitta vows, not wavering from the sacred bond, deity with God compassion, please exhaust all negative karma and empty samsara from its depths. At this very moment, please act as our guide. As I, with intense devotion, have thus invoked the enlightened mind, red light rays of compassion radiate from the heart of Amitabha and dissolve into the hearts of myself and all beings. Self-grasping, misconceptions, and delusion have collapsed in themselves. The state of selfless Dharmakaya is realized, and I rest in the nature of clarity and emptiness, free from grasping and elaboration.
Sarno
by all the limitless and sacred merit obtained through this meditation and recitation, may all beings drowning in the river of suffering attain the supreme state of Amitabha. Om Shri, all-pervasive Dhammakaya, protector Amitabha, Sambhogakaya, the loving assembly of bodhisattvas, and Imanakaya, the gathering of Shravakas and Arhats, together with your retinue, please endow all beings with the auspiciousness to progress to Sukhavati. Emaho, marvelous. In the center is a Buddha Amitabha, boundless light. To his right is Chenrezig, the Lord of great compassion, and to his left is Bodhisattva Vajrapani, the Lord of great power. They are surrounded by an inconceivable assembly of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Extraordinary limitless peace and happiness is the Buddha field called Bliss endowed. When I and all beings pass from this life, may we be born there, unhindered by another samsaric birth. Once born there, may we behold the face of the Buddha Amitabha boundless light. By the power of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, bless me that I may attain this aspiration without hindrance. Kayata pensatia awa bodhanaye